There's a family you've probably never heard of, a dynasty that made the Sacklers look small. They didn't just profit from addiction, they industrialized it. They built modern India, bankrupted China, and walked away as heroes. This is the story of the Sassoon family, a name that changed the world, and then quietly disappeared. In the early 1800s, a merchant named David Sassoon fled persecution in the Middle East. He arrived in British-controlled India, a place bursting with trade, opportunity, and corruption. At that time, the British East India Company ruled much of India. It wasn't just a company, it was a corporate empire with its own army and laws, and its most profitable product wasn't cotton or spices, it was opium. Britain was obsessed with Chinese tea. Every British home drank it daily, but China didn't want anything Britain made, so the British paid in silver, and silver was running out. The solution was dark and simple: grow opium in India, smuggle it into China, get millions addicted, and let the silver flow back. It was legal under colonial law and deadly for millions of people. David Sassoon saw the opportunity. He didn't just trade opium, he built an empire. He financed poppy farmers in India, he owned the warehouses, he ran the ships that carried the drugs, and he even created his own insurance business to protect those shipments. Within a few years, the Sassoon family dominated the opium trade. Tens of thousands of chests of opium were shipped to China every year. Millions of pounds of narcotics moved across the ocean, legally, with the blessing of the British Empire. The profits were massive, and the human cost was unimaginable. Cities across China collapsed into addiction. Families fell apart. Entire generations were consumed. In 1839, China fought back. A Chinese official named Lin Zexu led a campaign to stop the drug trade. He seized and destroyed over 1,000 tons of opium. Then, he sent a letter to Queen Victoria. He asked a simple question: if opium is banned in Britain, why is it being sold to China? Britain's answer was war, the first opium. War began that same year. 16 British warships faced the Chinese Navy. It wasn't even close. China lost. The resulting treaty forced China to pay compensation, open its ports, and give Britain control of Hong Kong. The Sassoons supported the British effort, and they were rewarded. Their trading rights expanded, their profits multiplied, the floodgates were open, and addiction spread faster than ever. By the 1850s, the Sassoon family was shipping over 7 million pounds of opium into China every year. At the same time, they were transforming their public image. They built libraries, hospitals, and schools across India. They funded docks, orphanages, and community projects. Their name was everywhere, on buildings, on plaques, in history books. David Sassoon became known not as a drug merchant, but as a philanthropist and community leader. His sons were knighted by the British Crown. They became part of high society, wealthy, respected, untouchable. No one asked where the money came from, and even if they did, the answer was hidden behind charity. That's how you launder a fortune. You don't hide it, you celebrate it. For decades, the Sassoons ruled Asian trade. They diversified into textiles, real estate, and banking. Every rupee earned from opium was reinvested into something legitimate. They built modern infrastructure and buried the origin of their wealth beneath good deeds. But no empire lasts forever. When the Communist Party took power in China in 1949, they seized all foreign-owned businesses, every Sassoon property, every investment gone overnight. The empire that once controlled most of Asia's opium trade vanished in a single generation. The family scattered across the world, their wealth dissolved, their name faded from memory. But the story doesn't end there, because history repeats itself. 100 years later, another family followed the same playbook, the Sacklers. Their company, Purdue Pharma, introduced OxyContin to the world, marketing it as a safe painkiller. It wasn't. Over 500,000 Americans have died in the opioid crisis. Billions were made, and when the lawsuits came, the family paid settlements but kept most of their fortune. Sound familiar? It should. Different century, different drug, same business model. The lesson is simple. Respectability is often built on pain. When you see a family name on a hospital or a museum, Ask where the money came from. Because the Sassoons did it in the 1800s with opium. The Sacklers did it in the 2000s with opioids. And somewhere, right now, another empire is doing it again. Maybe with a new drug, a new technology, or a new dependency. Addiction evolves, the methods change, but the motive never does. Profit first, philanthropy later. And when time has passed, history remembers the buildings, not the bodies. David Sassoon died wealthy and respected. His family received British honors and left behind libraries and docks that still stand in Mumbai today. But behind every brick, behind every plaque is a story of millions of lives broken by greed. The Sassoons were called the Rothschilds of the East. Once, that was meant as praise. Today, it sounds like a warning. Because every empire built on addiction eventually collapses. The only question is how much damage it does before it falls, and whether anyone ever learns the lesson.